Do you love Horace Vandergelder? No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Lloyd, God rest him, was my share of love, and I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love, and it was that. Minnie, look, there's two men staring at the shop. Men? Why, I do believe they mean to come in here. Two men? In the shop? Oh, Mrs. Malloy, what shall we do? Do? Why, flirt with them, of course. Oh, Mrs. Malloy, you and all this talk of love. Love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure I could do with now. Oh, we'll get them all heated up and then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for the married life. Now head back into the workroom, Minnie. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of a weight only makes them more nervous and easier for us to... If you say vampire, I'll scream! Vampire! Ah! And so, I'll try to make it easier for me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
Come on, Barnaby, we'll get an adventure out of this yet. All day we walk around New York, and then we come to the quietest street, and suddenly...
Vandergelder.
Is he still out there? Go look.
He's sitting right there on that bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
You don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know. How much money have you got left?
Not much, Cornelius. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. Why?
All right, then when those women come out, we'll have to pretend to be customers. That's it, customers. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think that we're rich. You know, that way we don't have to spend any money. We're just two men about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you? Hmm?
Well, you see, we're just two ladies about town.
And we wanted to buy a lady or two to Malloy.
And, sorry. We want to buy a hat. For a lady, of course, not for us. And everyone said to come to Mrs. Malloy's shop because you're so pretty. I mean, your hats. Your hats are so pretty and
so reasonable, Cornelius. As reasonable as under $1, would still leave us enough to see the whale.
You've got to excuse him, ma'am. It's just that we come from Yonkers, and it's a long ways, and he's excited to see the whale. And why don't you go watch the street? Maybe it'll pass by.
Excuse me, Mr. Hackle, but did you say Yonkers?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And pardon my saying this, but you should see Yonkers. And by that I mean perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers too, as well.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow. I am so sorry for your loss. May his soul rest in peace. You're not Catholic, are you? Well, if you're not, don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Oh, and if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free, I'd be more than happy to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be there sooner than you think.
Really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Oh, perhaps you know him.
Perhaps we do.
Oh, it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Horace Vandergelder?
Vandergelder's hay and feed.
Do you know him?
No.
No.
Mr. Vandergelder is a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
A lovely man, Mrs. Malloy. Has only one flaw as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think...
No, I wonder if your friend meant like this one.
Look out!
Excuse us, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
We'll explain everything later. Just help us.
Come out of there this minute.
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
Well, really, Mr. Tucker. Ow! Mr. Hackle, I insist that you pull him out of there now. Mr. Vandergelder!
Miss Malloy, don't suppose you've happened to see Mrs. Levi, have you? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. She can just go looking for me if she comes. When I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Oh, here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking to two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder? What would two men be doing in a ladies' hat shop? Well, now let's head back into my anxious for you to see.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Vandergelder, what's new in the hay and feed business? I hear you have 3 friends all hard as nails. I mean,
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a beautiful city.
Yonkers? And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see, he,
He?
a customer, Mr. Vandergelder, someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. You might even know him, although it's usually silly to ask in cases like that. It's a Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
Oh, he happens to be my head clerk, that's all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't you know Cornelius Hackle? Everyone in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's even at the Money Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my own safe.
Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built a canal.
Oh, what canal?
The canal. Both.
It ain't the same, man.
Who took the horses out of Jane's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's. Oh, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now I read. Don't deny it. I can see you were taken with him just like everybody else.
What are you saying, Dolly? I've only seen him once in my entire life. Really, Dolly.
Excuse me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Oh, no, hold on. If there's a man in that closet.
Oh, you can't, Mr. Vandergelder. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man, indeed. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles. I can see them rippling back and forth underneath your coat. Ripple, ripple, ripple. Back and forth. Ripple, ripple, ripple.
Now hold on, Mrs. Levi. Stop it and stand aside.
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the court wants to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for law, Miss Britland? I know what I stand for.
I stand for motherhood.